normal, guys. This is something special we're seeing from Rudy Gobert tonight.
No doubt! It's out of his mind.
Can't stop it, Bowler.
And he is egging on the crowd. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, let's bring it on. The Jazz wrap up their weekend road trip tonight in Minnesota against Karl Anthony Towns and the Minnesota Timberwolves right here, right now on AT&T Sports. The Jazz still number 4 in the West, but Dallas and Denver aren't far behind. Minnesota is 8th, 5.5 games now behind the Utah Jazz. And hi, everybody. I'm Craig Bolerjack. Jazz Nation, glad you're alongside. Big T and Holly will join me in just a moment. If you haven't heard, breaking news out of Minnesota this afternoon. Head coach Quinn Snyder has entered the health and safety protocol. Until then, Alex Jensen will take over.
It's been, a hard couple of weeks without guys and with coach, but, we've been together. It's one of the advantages, I think, of being together for a long time and the continuity of it all is that, the guys know what we're doing and the staff, we know what we're doing. So hopefully it won't be too much different with Quinn out. I think we're used to changing the game plan quite a bit, but I think it's given us, guys have to fill different roles. Joe Ingles is gonna have to handle the ball a little bit more tonight, but I think it gives us, options that we necessarily might have thought about that we could use going forward.
First comment from Alex Jensen, the interim head coach for the Utah Jazz, and welcome into Big T and Holly Rowe. And T, I'll start with you. Those comments, are interesting, but I'm not surprised. Quinn's one of the last of the coaches in the NBA not to be on the health and safety protocol. He is, but it's just another challenge that this team has faced throughout the last couple of years.
And the hits just keep on coming, don't they?
Yeah.
But listen, Alex Jensen is very capable. Just look at him as an extension of Coach Quinn Snyder, a guy who's been there before. And I think you'll see that tonight in his coaching.
There is great unity and continuity with the entire staff. I like how Quinn Snyder runs his program with everybody. But if anybody remembers Alex Jensen as a player for Rick Majerus, I think he can handle any level of pressure. He'll be fantastic in this role.
Yeah, he is one tough guy. Let's talk about Mike Conley because Donovan Mitchell will miss his 7th consecutive game tonight. And Holly and T, I think you both will agree that Conley has been the glue of late and really has helped this team stay together through a really difficult time.
Well, I love the leadership that we are seeing from Mike Conley, not only just as a vocal leader, but he has been so competitive. He has found a way to get his team going. He has played 6 of the 7 games that Donovan Mitchell has been out, and in those games averaging 15 points, whether it's getting a piece of the paint for himself or to create for others and kick it out. I think Mike Conley is really the heartbeat of this team right now, and they have got to rely on him tonight.
Well, I took a sneak peek in your book and saw gluability in there. It was amazing. And Mike Conley's picture was next to it. But this guy, all he needs to do is draw on his experience.
Yeah.
He ran a team for years with the Grizzlies, and in a way, he's kind of doing that now. So draw on that.
Yeah, I like that. 15 years will give you gluability.
That's right.
That's for sure. All right, let's talk about Minnesota because a dangerous club. They're 8th in the Western Conference, and there's 2 reasons. Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns. Those two combined for 47 points a game. Also good rebounders, 14 a night, and both can hit the 3.
Well, Anthony Edwards is one of the rising stars in this game. He can score any way he wants to. He's able to get by people, has some quickness, and can hit these shots under duress. But I also like his defense. He creates on the defensive end. The Minnesota Timberwolves lead the league in opponent turnovers, but he just became the youngest player in NBA history to have 300 threes already in his career, just 20 years old. He is a bright rising star.
Well, a couple of similarities between these guys, other than having Anthony in your name, is this man right here is one of the prototypical bigs that the league needs now. And what he's done is he's taken the game to a whole new level. He can hit that three-point shot. He can post up. Now, the Jazz are going to be challenged without Rudy on the inside and outside now because Karl Anthony Towns is going to feel like he can score at any time.
Yeah, he's a shot blocker as well.
That's right.
51 on the season. So here we go. It's a Sunday night. The Jazz wrapping up their road trip against Minnesota. Should be a good battle with the pesky Timberwolves. We'll have the tip-off straight ahead on AT&T Sportsnet.
Okay, look, I've been on a mission to the top, and when I get there, it's gonna go down.
Clarkson explodes to the rim.
Come for it all, no, that ain't enough just to go round. It average guy. We set that bar too high. There's more than monetary differences between you and I. Hey, hey, this the squad that you don't want to meddle with. You know we take it higher. We ain't never settling. Come on.
Tonight, the Utah Jazz and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And right now, let's take a look at the Taco Bell take. And T, push the pace.
Well, you can only push the pace if you're playing great defense and capitalizing on it, or after a made or missed shot, you get down the court. And guard Edwards with 5 men means you've got to communicate, right? With Rudy Gobert not playing tonight, Hassan Whiteside will do a great job, but you've got to communicate and make sure you get the ball out of his hands.
Now Minnesota 24-25. They lost to Phoenix Friday night by 10. The Jazz coming off a tough loss at Minnesota, 119-109. Lineups presented by Zions Bank, and we go with Mike Conley, who is trying to keep this team together. The glue, T, as you mentioned, Joe Ingles will start alongside Royce, Bogey, and Hassan Whiteside. And for the hometown T-Wolves, it's McLaughlin and Malik Beasley, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, and Karl Anthony Towns. Cat will be against Whiteside.
Well, he will, and it's going to be a challenge. I don't know what the defense on Cat will be when he's out top, but you see Coach Alec Jensen there getting ready for his debut, taking over for Quinn.
Acting head coach Quinn Snyder, we wish you well recovering and on the health and safety protocol. Mike Conley ready to go, so is Karl Anthony Towns. Utah 4th in the West, Minnesota in that 8th spot, and still so much undecided. This is game 51 of 82.
And both these teams like the pace. Karl Anthony Towns can get out and run, which is going to force Hassan to try to do the same.
The cut inside, and the ball comes off the hands of Edwards. So a turnover on the first possession for Minnesota. Holly, I think we'll see a lot of threes. Mike mentioned it because it's a 42 attempts for Minnesota, and the Jazz put up 40 a night.
That's right. These are two teams that use their DNA to shoot threes. But, you know, for Minnesota, where they already start the game off on a turnover, they create a lot of turnovers. They lead the league in opponent turnovers a game, but they are 3rd in the league with turning it over themselves. They've got to clean that up.
Here's Royce O'Neal. Good look. Open 3. And that one you could hear it just hit the back of the iron. In front court comes McLaughlin, making his 3rd start for Minnesota. You know, one thing you notice around the league, each night, every night, in fact, Thurl, it's a different lineup. The way the injuries and COVID have hit, you don't know who's going to be on the floor until about 20 minutes before tip-off.
Yeah, it's hard to plan for, right? As Hassan comes up short on that baby hook, but it's hard for each team to plan. Usually you have a scouting report, and you kind of got to fly by your pants and learn on the fly.
Basket interference, ball still up in the cylinder. So we stay scoreless, a minute 5 into this game. Jared Vanderbilt, he's a rebounder in a big way. 9 over 9 a game, and gets a lot of hoops right there at the rim.
You heard Coach Jensen talk about having Joe in the game. Gives you an extra point guard, if you will, a primary ball handler along with Mike Conley in there.
Conley chased the loose ball down. McLaughlin gave it a chance at a steal. Conley step back, Jay, on the way, good.
Pretty.
Mike, 15 points against Memphis with 6 assists Friday night.
And that comes from an aggressive dribble, getting the defender to back up off you, and then having enough space to knock that mid-range shot down.
Conley, great defense to force that ball a little strong off the glass by Conley. He's back in the paint. Joe fronted, gets it back from Conley. Shot clock at 9. Hassan jumps out to screen. Joe gives the ball up to Bogey on the baseline. Back out front, Conley. The Jazz have got to hurry. Short shot clock, and guess who, Holly? Mike Conley.
Keep calm and Conley on. He has been so terrific. You know, Donovan Mitchell had scored 34 points a game in the 3 wins against Minnesota this year, so they've got to really pick up the slack. Mike Conley's doing just that.
Rebound, Conley. He's been everywhere in the early minutes of this game. Hands it off to Bogdanovich. Bogey had 13. Struggled from 3 in Memphis, just 1 of 9. Ball comes off his leg, and Utah turns it over.
And guys, the importance of the pick and roll for the Jazz is paramount. But you see Royce kind of set a pick and roll there, but Mike Conley one-on-one it's tough to guard, especially when he creates enough space. But the pick and roll started this play as well, and Mike Conley, aggressive drive in the paint. You think he's going to go all the way, but he pulls up nicely.
Ball tapped out, picked up by Royce. Jazz up early, 4-0, nearly 3 minutes in. Jazz are 15-10 on the road. Minnesota 13-10 at home. Conley, the lefty, wide open. Hassan boxed out, couldn't grab the rebound, and here comes Minnesota. Edwards puts the ball down on the floor. Euro steps it inside, missed the shot. Towns tries to save it and does. Edwards 3 from the corner. Nice rebound by Hassan, wastes no time. Jazz push it into front court. Conley, bogey, and Royce is there for the bucket.
Beautiful. Now the two things we talked about getting the ball out of Edwards' hands and also pace and scoring off great defense. That's what just happened.
This is a good start for Utah in Minnesota, a 6-0 run to start the game. And some great communication on this play here. Moving the ball, moving in transition, and Bogey finds Royce. 6-0 lead for the Jazz.
Well, it's time for the MetaQuest unbelievable play. And it's already started here early, and a cutting Royce O'Neal from Bogdanovich.
Well, we talked about the Jazz getting out and running, and a couple of ways you can do that is great defense or right off of missed shots. You just get up the floor. Jazz always like that kind of offense because it helps their efficiency with those quick shots.
Jazz back home to start a 6-game homestand against Denver on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 pregame. Karl Anthony Towns. He'll take 6 threes a game. That one rims out. Bogdanovich trying to up the Jazz lead. It's 6-0. Ingles looking for a cutter, goes to Mike. Minnesota's missed their first 7 shots. Conley has to hurry, so does Joe. Gets a 3-ball away, in and out.
Another good look. Very good patience by the Jazz moving it around. I thought Hassan was open off that first pick and roll, but Joe didn't see him, but still got a nice shot out of it.
Beasley. Malik Beasley, who dropped 22 on the Jazz back on New Year's Eve, gets the first points for Minnesota.
Well, he's been hot lately. 26 Friday at Phoenix. He's become a real role player for them that can find offense when they need it.
And he hit 4 threes in that game. And Conley comes back with a Pura three-pointer. Pura, the possibility of send.
That was a beautiful play. Joe Ingles taking a couple of defenders with him as Mike Conley comes off the baseline wide open.
7 early points for Conley. Too easy down low. Vanderbilt pops a rim for 2.
That's going to be the test, guys. If that starts working for Minnesota, they're going to get more aggressive in that paint, making Hassan guard someone.
Utah turns it over for the second time. And then Royce reaches in and picks up his first foul, first team foul for Utah.
Right there, Joe Ingles just drawing a couple of defenders. They can't get back out to the hot Mike Conley quick enough. And then right here, Hassan goes to help, but hey guys, who's going to help me? You've got to get a couple of guys over to help the helper.
Sometimes that's just communicating and talking, and this is a group that doesn't get a ton of time on the floor defensively all the time together with all the guys who are out, as we see Jared Butler into the game now, so they've got to talk.
Rookie out of Baylor, won a national championship.
Great block by Rudy Gay. Those are the kind of things when Rudy comes into the game, I like to see him start with. Right here, Rudy just times Vanderbilt so well off the glass.
You know, he's such an important piece really for the Jazz. That's what they brought him in, with size, defense, and that ability to knock a shot away, as you saw it, Minnesota drive inside. Butler passes out to Bogdanovich, puts it down on the floor, waits, patience, and dropped it in for 2. Bogey on the board.
This is a great, oh, sorry, go ahead, Thurl.
Beautiful job by Bogey that time. Just kind of a slight pump fake to get the defense continue to move, and then he goes inside with another pump fake to score.
Here's Edwards trying to escape the defense of Royce O'Neal. They get a foul whistled out front.
was just going to say, you know, with Trent Forrest out tonight with an ankle injury, it's going to put some pressure on Jared Butler to really run this offense here.
Well, now the Jazz have their smaller lineup in. You see the foul there on Edwards.
That's 2 on Royce. You heard him say every time. Alex Jensen, former University of Utah great acting head coach. Joe takes a 3 off the wing. He's 0 for 2 from downtown. Towns a rebound, and Minnesota quickly pushes the ball. There's a stop and pop for 3, in and out. Rebound Gay on the backside.
Minnesota's looking for early shots as well. Jazz with a little quicker lineup in there. They've got to make sure they're back on that defensive transition.
Gay takes the deep 3. Jazz have started 1 of 5 from 3 and 5 of 11 overall. The lead 11-8. Rudy Gay shuts down that baseline. McLaughlin from the corner and splashes home a 3.
That was just a case of better offense. Rudy Gay, great job of the help side D, coming over the help. The pass got out to the corner, and Trent Forrest was out there, but the offense was just better at that moment.
Butler down in the paint, gives it away. Buckets O'Neal, gives it a run to the rim. Joe fought for the rebound. It's won by Minnesota. Here comes Anthony Edwards. And Butler looked to bump him down on the baseline. That'll be the first on the rookie.
Yeah, I don't like that call. It's probably just because I'm old. But you're riding side by side with the guy and you're bodying him up. You're not using your hands to push him. You're just using your body to stay connected. But it's still a foul.
Utah had a 6-point lead. Minnesota has rallied back to tie this game at 11. Under 5 minutes to play, opening quarter.
Jordan Clarkson in now for the Jazz. All the rotations are messed up with the ins and outs of this lineup right now. So guys are gonna have to come in roles and stints that they're not used to. It's a real adjustment for Utah. Normally these guys know exactly when they're coming in.
Jared Butler bodying up again. And I guess the foul was after the body up when he went to attempt the shot.
2 quick whistles on the rookie. Holly, you make a great point about rotations. I mean, it's who's healthy is basically, you know, you look back as a head coach and you say, okay, who can play tonight? And there's Chris Finch, the head coach of Minnesota in his 2nd year. Timberwolves on a 7-0 run. They take the lead for the first time, 12-11. Second free throw good by Jalen Noel out of Washington. He made his first start against Phoenix on Friday night, delivered 10 points and a couple of threes. Bogey has a wide open run to the rim, and there's a foul whistle down low. Towns will pick up his first.
You saw Chris Finch, the coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you know they're on track right now to make the playoffs. That would be something big for this organization that hasn't done that since, I believe, the early 2000s. So, you know, he's got it turned around. They've got some great young pieces in Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. See if they can hang on and make the playoffs this season.
Bogey makes the first.
The Xfinity Sports Zone, your home base for sports.
Last meeting, Bogdanovich, 24 points, 12 rebounds. Make that 12 assists. And had a plus 18 in the plus-minus category.
Well, Bogey's so crucial in this game because he can score in so many different ways. You saw him with McDaniels, a little too small.
Great job on the baseline. He knocked it away. Clarkson just checked in. He finds Ingles on the wing. Butler, he's a talented scorer. Coaches talk again about just trying to pick it up on the defensive end. Rudy Gay off the wing. I don't think anybody's going to argue the Jazz have had open looks.
No, they're really open looks. And as a player, if you're Rudy Gay, Both of your threes have gone long, so you got to analyze that and adjust it yourself and say, my next one either has to go inside, or I know that my next three-point shot can't be long. I've got to dial it in.
Utah 1 of 7 from downtown, and Minnesota 2 of 7. So already 14 3-point attempts have been put up. There's a bucket down inside by Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, backdoor plays have hurt the Jazz in the last few games when they turn their heads to watch their team, whoever has the ball. Right here, there's a lot of heads on swivel right now, and the Jazz aren't ready for that dive by McDaniel.
Well, there's a first look at Donovan tonight, missing his 7th consecutive game. Just came out of the locker room. Jazz Mitchell's 25.5 points per night. Les Olson Company, your office technology partner. Let's do it again. Giving away another $100 Amazon gift card tonight. You know what to do. Post your picture. Hashtag Les Olson IT.
Twimberwolves.
Twimberwolves, that's adorable. And I like the decor in that bedroom. That's cute.
So on this Sunday night, send it in. You know, hashtag it, Les Olson IT. Jazz with the ball, down by 2. Jared Butler will get extended playing time. Holly, as you mentioned, no Trent Forrest tonight. Mike Conley will get, his typical 27, maybe 30 minutes tonight. Rudy Gay shot down the baseline. Comes up empty. The Jazz have not scored since the 7:30 mark. That's 4 minutes. And that's allowed Minnesota to go on a 10-2 run. Lead by 2.
And not a bad shot by Rudy Gay. Right, he goes inside, something a little bit different, but misses the short one. But Minnesota's taking advantage again of that paint.
Noel drove inside, just put that ball off the rim, and it dropped. Here's Bogey going to work. He's fouled out front. That's an offensive foul, by the way, on Gay, trying to set a screen.
It's actually a popular call in the NBA. And part of it's because of impatience. The guy who's setting the screen doesn't wait long enough for the guy coming off, and you saw Rudy Gay kind of extend the screen. I mean, you've got to hold your ground and let the guy with the ball, that time Bogey, do his work and then make your move.
Doesn't hurt for Taurean Prince, too, Thurl, to hit the deck. Yeah. As soon as he felt that,
you got to sell it.
You do.
Yeah.
So, we saw Donovan Mitchell on the bench, and he had gone on this road trip with the Jazz hoping that he could come back and possibly play. They played against Memphis on Friday night and then here in Minnesota, and, they're just being super cautious with him. 7th straight game missed with concussion protocol, and we haven't gotten a ton of clarity on it, but I know that when we met with Quinn in the preseason, he had a whole list of things that were their priority, and the #1 thing on that list was help. So they're going to take this very carefully, and you've got to be willing to accept some difficult games without Donovan.
Good point. Also on that list, if I'm not mistaken, was to be playoff ready by game 70. This is game 51. You're 19 away. Nice job denying the driving Karl Anthony Towns, but the whistle on Whiteside.
Well, that's the beauty of having a smaller guy like Rudy Gay guard Cat when he's outside. But Hassan comes over with a two-handed block that time.
Bowler, you talk about being playoff ready. All of these bench players have had to come into the rotation, and Hassan Whiteside is somebody who's had to pick up a lot of slack. He's getting better. We're seeing it before our eyes in this expanded role. And so maybe this adversity is something that the Jazz are going to learn from, and individual guys are going to be better down the stretch because of this bumpy road.
We're going to find out together, because I think Quinn and Alex Jensen, they echo that each and every night while the Jazz are trying to find their way back through COVID and injury. But your point's well taken, and T, your thought, because again, if the deeper you are, the theory would be the better you'll be against an opponent, because you have more options. If you have to play small ball, they're getting a lot of experience right now playing exactly that.
Yeah, and that's the theory, right? I mean, it doesn't always work out that way, but what you know is, if you've ever played organized sports or team sports, if you will, that you're gonna struggle. You don't get to the promised land without having some struggles along the way, and this is the Jazz struggle time, and some of it is what they can't control, but what they can control is like tonight, going out, executing, playing defense, and finding new ways to win.
Eric Paschal is checked in. Rudy Gay out after picking up 2 early fouls. Paschal puts it out into the hands. And a shot clock violation.
And you guys talk about playing good defense. I think the Jazz have defended well early in this game. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have a field goal. You know, those 2 free throws were his first points of the game. And, you know, Hassan has shown some good energy in the beginning parts of this game, and Boyan, who's been mostly on Cat.
2 minutes remaining.
2 minutes left in the quarter. Towns just hit 2 free throws. It's amazing once you see it go in, how the game opens up. And Karl Anthony Towns with a bucket and 2 free throws. Here's Conley back on the floor and rips it deep.
I was going to say, I'd love to see Mike Conley continue what he's doing, but what Karl Anthony Towns is doing is they say, okay, you're going to put a smaller guy like Paschal on me out front. I'm going to drive. I know Hassan's in the paint. I'm not going to go all the way in. I'm going to shoot my floater.
McDaniels from the corner. He's a 28% shooter from downtown, but he's not shy. 4 attempts a game, 24-16. Under 2 minutes left, first quarter. Elijah Hughes on the floor with Paschal, Hassan, Clarkson, and Conley. Mike in the paint, pulls a string and hits.
If it ain't broke,
wow,
don't even try to fix it. Mike Conley doing a nice job of reading off the pick and roll. That's why the pick and roll is so important in the game tonight. We're used to seeing Rudy Gobert out there diving to the basket, but right now Mike Conley's using it to his advantage.
Mike's hit 5 of his first 6 shots. Noel comes back. He averages 8 points a game, already 6 here in the opening quarter.
Well, give Minnesota credit. They're kind of divvying up the shots. Ball's not in Karl Anthony Towns' hands all the time. They're moving it around, trying to find the best shot they can. They're doing a pretty good job at it.
Conley to Clarkson. Big rebound. Hughes gives it up. Paschal in the corner. Jazz rotated out. Again to Clarkson. Taurean Prince on his back. Crowds him. Hughes forces up a deep 3 and a shot clock violation for Utah.
Well, Jordan Clarkson thought the double team was coming and dribbled once and picked the ball up, which got him stuck with a short shot clock. No other choice but to heave it up there.
5th turnover of the quarter.
Couple of shot clock violations from Utah, but listen, I literally can't remember if this group of guys for the Jazz have all been on the floor at the same time. It's just got to take some time for some of these rotations to get a little rhythm.
Conley nicely done, knocks it down, picked up by Paschal. They'll take on Cat one-on-one. Oh, the follow up and in by Hughes.
That's why you don't give up on the play. You saw 2 players down there with Eric Paschal. And Elijah Hughes not giving up, getting to the basket for the follow-up.
Ollie, he's one of those rotation pieces, right? Doesn't see a lot of minutes, gets on the floor, good hustle, and he gets a bucket on the follow. Mike Conley with 12 of the Jazz 20 to start this game. Down 6 on the road in Minnesota. Here's a first quarter game summary brought to you by Zions Bank. And for a noteworthy approach to banking, Zions Bank is for you. Minnesota closed out the quarter on a 21-9 run. They lead by 6. The Jazz only 2 of 11 from 3 bench points, which was a strong point against Memphis with 53. So far, just 2 and also 5 turnovers.
Yeah, I'm looking at those bench points, though. You know, with the Jazz slim as far as players, with Rudy and Donovan out, Jordan Clarkson's really going to have to take up some of that slack. Rudy Gay, another one that can just light it up. But Mike Conley with the hot hand right now misses one right at the front door.
Daniel House, Trent Forrest also out. So the bench is really depleted tonight to get those bench points.
Second steal for Conley. Little stop and go drive. Looks for help and drops it out of bounds. Now that will be the turnover, let's see, number 6. And remember, the T-Wolves forced the most turnovers in the NBA, nearly 17 a game. And the Jazz already was 6. Minnesota was 6 in the first half.
Unfortunate misread right there. Mike Conley thought that, I think it was Elijah Hughes, was going to come up off that screen.
But it goes back to Holly's point, Thurl, where who's on the floor when, And the bottom line is Conley is so used to a Donovan cut or, you know, understanding where Clarkson's going to be, but the whole rotation changes, and Hughes probably thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, he probably thought about it because I'm sure these are plays the Jazz work on. And if Mike has picked his dribble up, it's automatic that you go and recover. So sometimes it's just a mistake. It's just an error, and I don't think it'll happen again. But you're right. It really is about different guys playing with guys for a while and knowing their tendencies.
Ball on the floor, over the back. That's Naz Reid. Did not play in the first quarter, scores his first two. He played at LSU.
Those live ball turnovers, man, any time of the game, they just can shift the momentum of the game just when you think you're getting on a roll.
Utah led by 6 early. Now Minnesota by 8. Pascal deep for 3, and he's coming on with the 3 ball. 36% is Eric Pascal, and yet another Pura 3-pointer. Pura, the possibility is sent.
Utah really, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Utah really needed that, because with the turnovers and the low shooting percentage from 3, that's a bad recipe for the Jazz. That's not Jazz basketball. And so that kind of stems the tide right there, builds a little confidence for Eric Pascal.
Naz Reid, already 4 points in 2 minutes off the bench here in the second quarter. Conley back to work, goes inside. Draws a foul. 1, 2, 3, 4 black and blue jerseys there to meet Mike Conley.
Right here, almost a steal. 2 Jazz players collide. They lose it, and Minnesota capitalizes on it.
They give a foul to Jaden McDaniels, his first. Conley at the line to shoot 2. The Jazz dancers train and practice hard every day in workout clothes by Zaya Active, the official apparel sponsor of the Utah Jazz Dancers.
I keep waiting for us to get some Zaya. I just thought that you and Thurl would look super cute in that, and I'm just waiting for my Zaya gift pack. I don't know when it's coming.
I checked. It doesn't come in a double extra large tall.
Conley 13 points. The rest of the Jazz have scored just 11 here in the first half. They're working on the perimeter. Minnesota, good look. Way up high goes Whiteside and pulls down the rebound.
Well, Hassan's going to be a busy man on both ends. That pick and roll is going to get pretty much every play started. There might be 2 pick and rolls, 2 or 3 in each series. That time, Hassan not quite ready for that pass from Mike. But, you know, I played with a great point guard. And even when I didn't think I was ready, John Stockton knew when I was open. So Hassan has to be ready every single time. Oh.
Did you just name drop John Stockton? Like, you know, when I played with John Stockton, the GOAT.
Hey, you know, if I know a famous guy, I'm going to call his name out.
You know what, though? I played with a great point guard.
I did.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to drop that it was John Stockton, whose banner's hanging in the building.
Well, I think that when I said great point guard, everybody pretty much knew who that was. It wasn't my Minnesota days, trust me.
Who'd you play with in Minnesota?
Pooh Richardson. Pooh.
Yeah.
And he was good in his own right, but it was tough to win games during that era.
I'll tell you one thing Utah's doing really well in this game, guys, and that is rebounding. You know, with Rudy Gobert out at his 15 rebounds a game, the Jazz are doing a good job on the boards, trailing in the rebounds just by 2. And this is an undersized lineup tonight, but they've done a good job keeping up with Minnesota.
Conley works in front of Naz Reid. Whistle down in the paint. Whiteside gets tangled up with Jaden McDaniels, and McDaniels picks up foul number 2.
And when the Jazz were whole and they were still playing their small lineup, Quinn Snyder talked about, as we watched this foul right here, you see Jaden McDaniel getting hooked up with Hassan down there and pulling a chair on him. But they were experimenting with that small ball lineup. And I really believe that the more and I know they're forced to do it now, but at some point something clicks, right? When you have a specific lineup in there, that communication, that chemistry has to click, and it's no longer an experiment.
Alex Jensen said that before the game tonight. He said maybe we'll see some things and some rotations that we didn't know were good. You know, we're still looking at things.
Pascal's shot rebounded down on the baseline. Minnesota with a 6-point lead. 9 minutes left in the half. 3 ball up, 3 ball down. And that's what you have to worry about Anthony Edwards. You know, he's 6'4", 6'5". He'll take 9 threes a game.
Yeah, you talked about Eric Paschall getting better. Well, Anthony Edwards is also getting better. And maybe for him, the more you take, you know he's going to take a lot. The more he's going to end up hitting over the course of the season.
Clarkson 0 for 3. And Utah overall in the first half, 3 of 14. They hit 17 threes against Memphis on Friday night. Turnover, Royce O'Neal. And he'll wait for Joe Ingles, and he'll get it back. The cutter goes inside. It's Paschall. And McLaughlin got back in a hurry on defense.
And I think Royce O'Neal, I'm trying to read his mind right now. I think he wishes he had that one back, because if you're going downhill on a guy who's backing up or his feet are moving, go right at him. He cannot square up and take that charge on you in time.
Ingles, the inbounder. He had a 5-second call on him in Memphis. There's a shot.
Beautiful.
Falling out of bounds. Clarkson finally gets on the board after a rough start from downtown.
Well, you need a spark to start a flame, and I hope that one is the one that does it for Jordan Clarkson.
Inside, scoop it up with the left hand. Edwards somehow got through Utah's defensive front. They built a wall, but he found the crack and went inside. 8 points in the half for Edwards, a former #1 pick overall out of Georgia back in 20. Ingles works it to Clarkson. Shot clock hits 7. Clarkson between the legs, jumps it over. Edwards, 1 and out. McLaughlin rebounds. 8-point game. What a move. Rimming out that 3 by Edwards. And the rebound by Hassan.
Good look again. Nice screen. What they're doing, what the Jazz are doing with Hassan. You see Jordan Clarkson with a super tough 3. Wow.
I think the tougher.
Nice screen from Hassan. Look at that.
I think the tougher the shot, maybe it goes down more often for Clarkson.
Well, Hassan Whiteside doing a really good job of staying vertical as well on those drives.
Back and forth we go here in the second quarter, rolling up on 7 minutes to play before halftime. Clarkson just a soft touch, got the roll off the rim and drops in. That's 5 quick points for Clarkson.
Well, McLaughlin just too small.
Clarkson is key tonight. Without Donovan this year, he has averaged 20 points in the 9 games. Missed. That's a beautiful move by Edwards. 10 and 7 here in quarter number 2.
Well, I think Anthony Edwards has the makings of being a superstar in this league. He's making some pro moves that are just difficult to guard.
And Holly, he has scored 7 straight points for Minnesota.
Yeah, he's getting too hot right now. Utah's got to get a little bit more physical. But how about this from JC? Flame on. Utah still within range.
Clarkson and the Jazz trail Minnesota here in the second quarter, 37-29. Time for the Qualtrics behind the numbers. Qualtrics for breakthrough experiences and those bold enough to chase them. We talked about 3-ball tonight. 42, I round up, T and Holly. So 42 attempts for Minnesota. The Jazz at 40. Golden State, if you round up, they're at 40 as well. The Bucks at 39. The one thing about Minnesota and the Utah Jazz shoot the ball better. 36%, Minnesota 34.
Yeah, and obviously Donovan's a big part of those 3-point shots that the Jazz would have. And you don't necessarily have to make up for them, right? You just have to make them. You know, it's not about shooting more or trying to make up for points. It's knocking down the ones you get.
Rudy Gay back on the floor. There's the 3-ball right on cue.
Yes, sir.
Right on cue, Rudy Gay. Had a couple of early fouls, hit the bench, back on the floor. And that 3-ball cuts it down to 5, 37-32.
He did make that adjustment you talked about, Thurl. He wasn't long on that one. I think you prophesied that one.
Well, I think when he went inside, it was probably a different look for him, and now he can go back outside and try to try to understand the range he needs on that three.
There's a rebound the Jazz needed. Their 14th.
Oh,
Joe. No. I hope it's knee to knee, and I hope it's nothing else. But Joe is in pain. He's been so durable during his career.
And you heard him yell too, man.
Timeout, Utah.
This just brings heartache to me, and I know Jazz Nation, to watch this. Oh my.
I don't even want to watch it again. I know we have to, but
The crowd goes silent at Target Center. Jazz Nation, hold your breath. We'll take a timeout and be back. 5:52 left. 37-32 Minnesota. And I mean, Alec Jensen has a lot to do right now to keep the emotions of the Jazz together. That's moments ago. As you see, Donovan, Joe does get up. And you saw the replay. We're going to show it to you just that one time as we went to break. But he's getting help from the medical staff, and you just hope for the best. But such a cog of what the Jazz are all about. One of the fan favorites. He's got the attitude, the grit, the grime. You know, he's just a guy that loves the game, and you hope for the best.
yeah, and listen, we're not even going to speculate, but we know it wasn't good, right? I mean, it's not something that you're going to see him back, obviously, tonight. But, yeah, it just breaks my heart to see any guy really go down, but a guy like Joe Ingles, who we've seen over the years in this
8th year.
This game, yeah,
8
man.
years. Bogdanovich gets back to work and drops the three. Bogey now was 7.5.
You could see Donovan Mitchell's reaction and the hands to the head. Like, I just feel sick to my stomach right now to see Joe go down like that. I can't imagine how these players feel. They're going to have to go back out and focus right now.
And that's the reality of it, right? Somebody else has to step up and be almost superhuman. I hope it's this guy Bogey, Bojan Bogdanovich right here, that's getting that attitude. We've seen him come through in the clutch when key players were missing.
No look pass inside. Tapped up once, twice, rebounded by Rudy Gay. Bogey, you know, makes it a 38-37 lead for Utah. You know, on the road, I got to remind you, he just shoots 28% from three, and that was a big one there. Bogey now has 10.5 and a 9-0 run by Utah.
Good defense right there by Utah.
That ball jumps out, back in.
Yeah, it's
Karl Anthony Towns got a fingertip up on it.
And it's tough when you play that kind of defense, and Karl Anthony Towns has the height advantage and is able to tip it in.
Gay shot short. There's Edwards. Ball poked out of his hands, picked up by Karl Anthony Towns, and a whistle down low.
You know, that was his first field goal here in the second quarter, and I actually like this rotation Utah has in right now for defensive reasons. They've had a couple of really good defensive possessions. You can see Karl trying to get more involved here for his team with 4:19 left in the half.
Well, Rudy Gay taking one for the team. That's his third foul right now. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach Jensen does with Rudy Gay.
Towns 6'11", 7th year out of Kentucky.
I had a funny experience with John Calipari from Kentucky this weekend, you guys. So I was asking him a question about, you know, all the NBA players you've ever had and all the the $2 billion worth of salaries you've had. Is Oscar Tshiebwe the best rebounder you've had? And he said, Holly, I've had $3 billion worth of NBA salaries. He said, don't short me that billion. Can you imagine that? The guys he's coached at Kentucky have gone on to earn $3 billion.
And the fact that he's keeping count.
Yeah.
Good point. Clarkson lets a three-pointer fly up high, rebounded out and cleared by Vanderbilt. He's a Kentucky Wildcat. Ball tapped out. Clarkson, right place, right time, brings it into front court. Utah down 3 as we pass the 4-minute mark. Clarkson in the paint. Oh, he got his own rebound. Clears to Butler, the rookie. Drives baseline, fills the lane, turned it over. Nope. Hassan Whiteside picked up the loose, deflected ball and hooks in 2.
It may not have worked out exactly how the Jazz designed it, but nice job of keeping that ball moving. Hassan Whiteside with a nice little baby hook in the paint.
First 2 points of the game for Hassan came at a good moment right before the half, keeping the Utah Jazz connected.
He had 11 points, remember, against Memphis, and 10 of those 11 came in the second half.
Donovan's got the whiteboard. Is he going to draw plays down there at the end of the bench? I would love to see Donovan get in on the coaching. We're down a coach tonight.
Bogdanovich, space, works it inside, muscles home 2. That's 12 for Bogdanovich.
That might be the guy right there. You talk about needing someone else to lead. Bogey's been there before, and you saw it on that play.
Whistle out front. So now you have Rudy Gay with 3 and Royce O'Neal with 3. And there's a moment. Now you think of him as a longtime vet, right? He's in his 5th year, halfway through it. And he's coaching up the rookie, Jared Butler.
He really is coach. Look, the cap was off the pen. He's right ready to draw something up. I love that. Teach him, Donovan, teach him.
Blocked Hassan. Starts a break. Clarkson. They spread the floor. Big factor for tonight. Jazz needs space to work.
I'll tell you how close this team is. Guys, they just step up. They step up and do more. 1, because it's been a tough time. But 2, it hasn't gotten any better. One of your leaders just went out of the game. You know he's not coming back, so you're playing for him as well. So it's good to see these guys. You've seen in the last couple of minutes, they've kind of picked it up on both ends of the court.
Clarkson hits his first free throw, 6 points after a rough start. Utah's hit 4 of their first 5 from the stripe. Minnesota 7 of 7, and there's a miss. Rebound, Whiteside, nicely done. What bounce? Soft touch. Oh, puts it back up and in.
That's what I'm talking about, Hassan. Nice job making his presence made right there in the paint, not giving up on the play.
Utah led by 6 early. The lead now is 4 on a 7-0 run here late in the second quarter. Towns' shot was in and out. Another rebound for Whiteside. Conley finds Clarkson. If you just joined us, Joe Ingles taken to the locker room after taking a nasty fall. Bogey deep.
How pure was that, Bowler?
Oh, it was pure. In fact, the possibility of scent is real. 48-41, largest lead for Utah in a 16-4 run since Joe went down with that injury. Edwards turns the corner and was able to drop it, Holly, over Whiteside, who was there protecting the baseline.
Yeah, that's just good defense. But Bojan Bogdanovic, guys, by my unofficial stats, he's scored 11 since Joe has gone down. Way to step up as a leader, Bogey.
Unforced error. Just, you know, you look to the basket tee, you want to make something happen, right? And that's just exactly what happened to Elijah Hughes.
Yeah, Elijah got a little too anxious that time, but that's okay. You're going to have another opportunity there, but that man right there, Bojan, the switch is flipped.
Bogey is at 5 of 6 shots. All 3 threes have hit the bottom of the net. 15 points in 14 minutes here in the first half. Jazz by 5, under 2 to play. Jaden McDaniels, 8-point half. I talked about, he'll take 4 attempts. He's not the greatest of 3-point shooters percentage-wise, but he's hurt the Jazz here in the first half with a pair of threes. Conley, nice rebound. It's about second opportunities off those defensive rebounds. 7 on the shot. Conley step back in the corner. 3 ball. Airs one up and out. There's Vanderbilt. The Towns. They peel off. That's a wide open look. He took a deep breath, T. You saw that?
Yeah.
He just took a deep breath and hit a practice shot.
Well, he had all day to shoot it, right? So, you know, just like being in a gym by yourself and taking your time. And sometimes those are the toughest shots to take when you're that wide open, but that time, Karl-Anthony Towns put it down.
Bogey attacks again, denied. Ball's down on the floor, saved by Minnesota. They have the ball on an 8-0 run, make it 10 straight. 51-48 Minnesota.
The Jazz need to quiet the hometown crowd here with a basket. And a tough one.
.8 on the clock. McDaniels put it right where it had to be.
Yeah, Minnesota off and running, not wasting any time. Jazz can't get back quick enough.
Foul down to the baseline. Circus shot put up by Vanderbilt. Conley the foul.
Well, the Jazz were doing a really good job on Karl Anthony Towns when he has the ball. Bogey's doing a great job. Hassan's coming over to help if he decides to drive. But when Hassan helps on Karl Anthony Towns' drive, again, who's helping Hassan? There's got to be one or two guys trying to find the cutting guys, and that time it was Vanderbilt.
And, you know, McDaniels has hurt the Jazz a little bit with those three-pointers. I wouldn't be shocked if part of the scouting report was to lay off him a little bit. He's a sub-30 shooter from three-point range, and they're helping on to Towns a little bit more, but he's hurt them, and he's hitting those shots, so they may have to adjust.
And McDaniels is only averaging 8 points per game. He's already at that, right? So I think there's a point where you can give those up, but, you know, if he starts rolling, heck, I can still knock him down. You leave me open.
Well, the Jazz went on a 10-0 run. Minnesota has countered with 11 straight points. The lead is 4. Conley dances out front. Hassan sets a screen. He rolls. Mike takes the wing three. It's up and out, tapped up, and the horn sounds. And Utah battling down 4 at the half in Minnesota. Donovan Mitchell, you see him out again for the 7th consecutive game. Concussion protocol, and the tough injury for Joe Ingles here in the first half. We'll try to get a report at halftime on Joe's status. Bogey tough with 15. Halftime in Minneapolis, the Jazz trailing 52-48. After the break, we'll have stats and we'll have highlights on Jazz Halftime. Presented by Mark Miller Subaru, Utah's only negotiation-free Subaru retailer. Minnesota 52, Utah 48 on AT&T Sportsnet.
He can bring that same energy even more. I know he's got it in this half. It's going to be big for the Jazz, and the Jazz also need to pull someone else along on the offensive end. Maybe it's Jordan Clarkson, right? We hope it's a guy like Jordan Clarkson, or a couple of guys. Rudy Gay can come in. Buckets O'Neal needs buckets. Jazz need to get that lift with those two guys on the offensive end.
You read my mind on Royce, because Royce is a guy that can score when he wants to be aggressive. I think he could be more aggressive.
Bogey drives inside, has the ball taken away, so a turnover on the first possession, and that leads to what could have been an easy bucket. Nice defense by Conley to shut down Edwards. Forces him out behind the three-point line, and the ball knocked away. By the way, we just got word from the Jazz PR staff. Joe Ingles, I quote, left knee injury, will not return, and he will have an MRI in Salt Lake City tomorrow. That's the official word from the Jazz PR.
Royce O'Neal hitting that shot, and you can see Eric Paschall has started the second half here in place of Joe Ingles. So another rotation lineup for the Utah Jazz, just having to overcome every type of injury and adversity. Utah just keeps rolling on.
And I thought only being down 2 possessions at half, Jazz didn't play poorly. I didn't think Minnesota played that great, and a lot of it was because of the defense of the Jazz mid-second quarter. Now, I know Minnesota did go on a run there towards the end, but Jazz did just enough work just to hang into this game.
Conley. Holly, you must have a crystal ball. You talked about buckets. O'Neal hitting a 3, and he just hit one for you.
I was feeling it, and so was he.
Rebound. Minnesota pulled in by Vanderbilt. 1-point game. Early minutes of the third quarter. The look off, the shot. Wedgie. Malik Beasley will jump it.
Yeah, I don't like that rule either. Right? So you get a wedgie. The Jazz didn't shoot that. It should be their ball.
I think you ought to call the rules committee after the game.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Towns and Hassan Whiteside will jump it. Easily won by Whiteside.
Now I like the rule.
Now you do, yes.
The ball knows. The ball knows.
It knew who it belonged to. Conley gets it back from Royce. Takes a stumble. Oh my, kept the dribble alive. The no look inside to Paschall, and it's knocked away now. A foul by Conley.
It just hurts too, because you're executing so well, And right here, Hassan just puts up a concrete wall right there on McLaughlin. The Jazz can't hold on to it.
Hassan does a really nice job using his backyard on screens. Have you noticed that? He has just a little...
Well, when you got a big backyard, I mean, you got to use it to your advantage, right? And it's great because he's got that body of the throwback centers that, you know, he's able to handle right there. Miscommunication. McLaughlin gets away for probably his easiest shot of the night.
Absolutely. Had a three-point shot in the first quarter. 5 now for McLaughlin on that back cut, and a nice pass. 54-51 Minnesota. Mike Conley says, hey, wide open, I'll take the lane, and drives it home and lays it in with the left hand.
Yeah, he's got to take the lane and he's got to take charge. Mike Conley really with a hot hand, scoring in a lot of different ways like we saw in the highlights.
I think he's quicker than McLaughlin too. We've seen him go by him a couple of times.
Denied. Hassan misdirected or redirected that shot by Towns. Now stolen. Picked the pocket of Bogey, and a bucket again by McLaughlin.
Yeah, those hurt. They hurt. You just cannot let those live ball turnovers, especially when you've made a pretty good play. Hassan came over and helped. Jazz were on their way down. You can't give those up.
See, and another play like that, trying to find Hassan in the paint. And those are the plays too, Holly, that just when you think you're getting over the hump, you fall back down the hill.
Yeah, and I know the Jazz are doing a little bit more of this Euro fouling, stopping on a fast break opportunity, but you don't want to, and those are some breakdowns that they want to avoid.
Fouls under review.
Bogey's a little frustrated here. That's why they're reviewing. There's a clear path, possibly a clear path foul, but Bogey a little frustration on that foul because of the previous steal.
Well, 6 steals tonight. Minnesota averages nearly 9 a game. That's 4th best in the NBA. So you have to be pure on your passing, and they're going to look for a clear path. If this is a clear path, it's free throws and possession.
This is similar to one we saw the other night, I believe.
If you're just joining us, Utah without Quinn Snyder tonight, without Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, and Joe Ingles has gone down with a knee injury.
If that was a common foul at the time of the defensive foul, his shoulders are ahead of the offensive player. Minnesota will retain possession just inside the front court.
Great explanation. So a common foul for Bogey.
Yeah, most times when you want to commit those Euro fouls, you want to turn and face the guy, be squared up if you have the opportunity to, before it gets to the point where it turns into so Bogey kind of making up for a couple of mistakes there, but not a clear path foul, which is good.
Edwards puts the ball on the floor, passes out, corner, 3 ball up and out. Conley was up high. Pascal, quick outlet, easy 2 on a hammer with 2 hands by Royce.
Love that pass by Pascal. That's another $50 donation from Ford to the Utah Food Bank, making a difference. That's built Ford proud.
13 assists on 21 made buckets by Utah. Minnesota also with 13 assists on their 21 makes. Jazz back to within 1. Floater up and in. Close in by Beasley.
Yeah, Beasley able to get that shot off before Hassan could kind of set up to time the block.
Boy, Towns got great vision. Already 5 assists in this game. Pascal, quick pass to Bogdanovich. Hassan screens. Bogey. Ball deflected, picked up by Royce. Shot clock down to 3, down to 2. Conley in the paint, lets it fly. Left hand tapped up, and we're going to call offensive foul. That's the call on Whiteside.
Tough one there. Shot clock running down. A nice pass by Pascal there. Little shades of Wes Unseld back in the day. But right here you see, I saw both of Hassan's hands in the air, so he must have pushed with the body.
They double down Towns.
think this is a good matchup with Pascal in the game to go against Edwards, because he and Bogey can switch, except for then he just rises up and hits a three right over the top.
Edwards is just showing the versatility he has off the dribble that time. You didn't know whether he was trying to drive. He got the ball in the shot pocket, just pulled up, but
that ball rolls off of Pascal. Another turnover. Runner to the rim. Malik Beasley, 7 points, 4 here in the third, and the run is 7-0. And Pascal is not a happy player right now.
Well, 12 turnovers by the Jazz, and 3 we just saw recently, live ball turnovers that Minnesota's taken advantage of.
12 turnovers, 13 points scored by Minnesota. Those are free points, and the Jazz down 63-55 in the third. The upcoming schedule brought to you by University of Utah Health. Get the same care that the Utah Jazz trust. Visit uvuhealth.org. Next broadcast, Denver at home. 8 o'clock tip, 7:30 pregame. Jokic will be in town. His last 6 games, he's led Denver to a 5-1 record. Thurl and Holly, wow, the numbers just keep piling up. 32 points, 60% from the floor, and on it goes.
Dude's got game. I mean, Jokic is he's the real deal, and it's, you know, it's a scary thought when they get their team back healthy as well, because he's running the show.
Inbounds pass stolen after the timeout. And those are deflating plays, Holly, that just cannot happen.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That just cannot happen. We've seen Elijah Hughes make some mistakes tonight, Jared Butler, and, you know, these guys are not in the lineup often, and so when they are, it has to be good. That just cannot happen.
Butler picks up his 3rd foul. Free throw. Beasley has been an impact player here in the 3rd quarter.
Your pizza, your way. Download the Little Caesars app today.
Pizza, pizza.
Jazz need to keep this thing under single digits. Find some offense.
Just a 7-point 3rd quarter. Offensive foul.
There's a call again.
Whiteside. That's 3 on the 7-footer for Utah.
Yeah, they're saying he threw his hip into the defender right at the last second. Again, you got to show a little more patience on that screen.
Ball knocks out, picked up by Minnesota. The floater around and out, the putback. No one blocked out Vanderbilt. And that's 5 now. 5 points for Jared Vanderbilt. The run is 10-0 and the lead is 11 for Minnesota.
Well, they call him the Vandalorian for a good reason. He's tough inside there, and he'll sneak in there and get those big shots, but that's a big shot there.
Big. Jared Butler on the board, a long 2. (66-57), halfway through the 3rd quarter. The paint opens, the ball falls off the rim, loose. Towns has it in traffic. And the big fella showing a nice touch. First 2 here in the 3rd.
The Jazz reaction just too slow on those offensive rebounds. 1, to get the rebound. 2, I mean, Hassan Whiteside was the guy in front of Towns. You've got to at least contest it. Put a hand up to give him a tougher look at it. Right here, you see Hassan right there in front to help. Doesn't go up with Towns, and Towns has an easy look at the basket.
You know, this is a moment of toughness for the Utah Jazz. They are without their head coach, Quinn Snyder. They're down to just 10 players right now because of the injury to Joe Ingles, the late scratch of Trent Forrest with an ankle. Daniel House is out due to health and safety protocols. So this is kind of a gut check moment for Alex Jensen, who's acting as head coach tonight. And these players, it's tough. It's on the road, and there's every excuse to lose, right?
Yeah, it's a great point.
And here's the thing, is that the system doesn't change, right? I mean, it's difficult without your top guys in there and your leaders. But it starts on the defensive end. It starts with getting stops and being accountable to each other on this end of the court first to create more opportunities for you.
You saw Edwards toying with Royce O'Neal. Nice shutdown, forced a deep three, rebound Utah. And somehow they've got to shut the door on the paint. In fact, Minnesota with a 36-22 advantage in the paint.
It's a good look by Jared Butler. He was looking for Hassan, trying to get that timing right. Hassan did catch it, but called a foul.
McDaniels picks up his third. Hassan just missed 2 at the line. 4 points, 10 rebounds.
The wolf howl just drives me crazy when they go to the line. Doesn't it creep you out just a little bit?
Oh, it didn't when I played for him. But now it does.
Jalen Noel back in, 6-point first half. And Hassan finally puts down a free throw. Missed his first 3. Towns inside. Step back. Soft touch for the big man, T.
Yeah, just a smart play. I think Bogey's been doing an excellent job on Towns outside, but Towns is starting to read it, drive, and trying to create his own space for a shot.
Minnesota has owned this quarter. 14-3 is the run, and a 12-point lead under 5 to play.
Bogey coming back with an aggressive move himself. Gets hit on that right cheek there, but he's a great free throw shooter, so he should knock these down.
Third foul on Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm looking at that right arm of Bogdanovich. And Holly and T, every time we talk about Bogey, seems like he's got a couple of scratches somewhere.
He worked so hard.
Right there. Look
at. I can't tell if that's a birthmark of some sort, because I feel like we see that every game.
No, it's a new one.
Is it a new one?
Yeah, it's a new one every game. He heals really fast.
Fast healer.
That's right.
I think it's a wolf claw, what that is.
There we go.
17 for Bogdanovich. 10-point game.
You know, I was watching the second half of the Memphis game, and Utah was down 13. Just like they are right here, and came back, pulled within 4. So I know the Utah Jazz can do it. They can be resilient in this moment, but they need that man right there to start getting hot, literally.
Those 2 free throws were the first points of the second half for Bogdanovich. 15 of the half, 17 here in the third. Rudy Gay pops a 3. Out it comes, rebound Edwards. Boy, the 3 ball you were hoping would be a factor for the Jazz tonight. 9 of 28, 32%. There's another inside bucket in the paint, and a 3-point opportunity now for Karl-Anthony Towns.
Well, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's getting different looks up top. That time it was Rudy Gay who was playing the jumper, and there's no big in the paint, no Hassan Whiteside. Your big is the guy on the ball, so other guys have to collapse and understand that this man right here can score in different ways, and he's been very smart tonight, getting in the paint.
I liked when he was like, looked at his bicep. I'm just too strong right there. And you see how Patrick Beverly, who's out tonight, pop up off the bench with the little flex as well.
21 for Karl-Anthony Towns. 10 here in the third quarter, and a 20-5 run for Minnesota. All of a sudden, just like that, it's a 16-point lead. Utah has scored just 12 points in the third. Clarkson goes into the paint. Try to force it, does inside, and Gay scores. Tough bucket.
Yeah, this is a very important 4 minutes for the Jazz, because they need to go into the fourth quarter on a good note.
Single digits.
Yes.
That's key for the fourth quarter on the road. There's a shot down low, and again, just the force of that man at the rim. 23 now for Towns.
Sometimes it's just instinctive when a guy drives to the hole. As Jared Butler knocks down a shot, is for everybody to follow, and then nobody turns to see who's diving to the basket, and Karl-Anthony Towns just getting a nice exclamation dunk.
13 straight for Towns, 81-64.
He loves that spot. You have to step up and guard him there. He hits those every time when he's got space.
Loves the straightaway three. Clarkson into the paint, draws a team. A wall of black and blue jerseys. Bogdanovich stuck in the corner. Dropped it, picks it up, and he stepped out of bounds. That's the kind of night it's been.
Well, when it rains, it pours, and it starts with plays like this. You see a guy drive, you turn your back. You don't see who's behind you. And Towns following it up with a three-point shot. It's snowballing in Minnesota.
Check out the Kia player profile, and we look at Karl Anthony Towns. What a night. 26 points, 15 in the third quarter alone, 10 rebounds, and he's put home 3 threes on 4 attempts.
Well, there's a big cat out there tonight, and you're watching him do his thing. As a big man, that kind of versatility is just priceless, and the guy is just taking advantage of it all.
Now Minnesota on a 25-9 run. Towns has scored 15 in the third, and the Jazz as a team, they've scored just 16, Holly.
Well, this is a pride moment right here, and Rudy Gay coming in. It looks like he's going to be on Karl Anthony Towns now, and can he slow him down? This is just some pride on what kind of defense do you want to have and what kind of team do you want to be?
Driving to the lane, Towns. That was an easy runner to the rim, but fouled along the way. He'll shoot 2.
I also think it's pride with Karl Anthony Towns. You're playing for an organization who hasn't been there in a long time. Maybe the closest they got was when Kevin Garnett, was leading the charge. So there's a lot of, Andrew Wiggins is not there anymore. So there's a lot of responsibility on him to really pull this team together. And individually, he's doing a great job. It's going to take them, I think, a while to get to where they want to. But man, it lays on his shoulders.
One of the youngest rosters in the NBA, and you can see this youth could grow together very nicely. Some great complementary pieces with 2 stars, Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. So they're built in a really good way for the future.
In and out, 1 out of 2 for Towns, 27 points. And Holly, to your point, D'Angelo Russell, who's out tonight as well. He's a 7-year vet, so is Towns. But you look at Edwards, 2 years in the league, McDaniels 2 years, Vanderbilt 4, and on you go. Clarkson, yes, in the paint and scores.
There's a lot more of that from that guy. But first, you've got to be able to slow this Wolves team down on this end. They're on a roll right now.
How about that first quick step down the baseline? McDaniels now in double figures with 10. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Yes, Bogdanovich. Another Pura 3-pointer, and yes, Pura, the possibility of sent. Bogey with 20. You're right about stops, T.
Yeah.
And Karl Anthony Towns saw space, runs it inside, caught the rim and in.
Well, he saw space, and he didn't see any 7-foot bodies in there, so he knows he can get to where he wants to in that paint, especially if he gets by Rudy Gay, who is the tallest defender right now. Right here, McDaniel just baseline. He knows there's no help that way if he can get by Bogey.
Yeah, once he got by Bogey, the only player in his way is a 6'1" Mike Conley. Shot clock hits 7. Conley in the paint, tough shot. Yes, what a bucket by Mike off the glass.
Yeah, tough is an understatement. That was a very difficult shot by Mike Conley. But he is the horse champion.
Yes, he is. 17 for Conley. The 3 down. McDaniels has scored a quick 5. 13 now for McDaniels. Averages 8 points a game. Jazz down 18 with the ball under a minute to play on this final game of a short 2-game road trip. Back home for 6 before they go to LA and then the All-Star break.
Well, Minnesota feels like they have a semi-comfortable lead. Jazz can't afford to just trade baskets. They've got to find an answer for playing better defense right now. just to chip at it.
So I'm just curious, Thurl. They need stops, and you know they're trying some different lineups here. Rudy Gay's in right now. Do you bring back Hassan Whiteside? Do you at least give Udoka Azubuike some minutes to just put a body on Towns, or what can they do to slow him down?
Well, I'm gonna let AJ handle that part, and you're right. He's using Hassan because I think you're better in the paint when you get Karl Anthony Towns driving to the basket to have a big shot blocker down there, of course. But you know, the problem has been that it hasn't been consistent. Hassan has helped. Nobody has helped him, or Hassan has gotten there a little bit too late. So it's going to take a collective effort for these guys to put a run together.
19 for Mike Conley. Bogey with 20. The Jazz trail 89-73 in the final minute of the third quarter. There's a travel.
Yeah, but it's a turnover. Now the Jazz get an opportunity to score. They can pull some of those together and just chip away at this score going into the fourth quarter, and you got a shot.
You know, we told you about turnovers to start this show, and 17 points off of 15 Jazz turnovers right now for the Timberwolves. That's tough. And there's another one right there.
So your defensive opportunity pretty much just flew out of the window because you couldn't capitalize on it. And sometimes that makes it a little bit tougher to pull another one together. Right there, Jordan. Looked like he was going to concessions for a drink that time up in the stands.
I'll give him high numbers for his jump. Was that 3 rows he jumped over, empty seats?
Well, his dad was a great track
That's
star.
right. Elijah Hughes back on the floor here, the final 30 seconds of the third quarter. Baseline, just Hassan had no defensive ability to stop McDaniels, who just rolled. And right now he's had the big third quarter. That's 15 tonight.
Well, the problem is Hassan gave himself enough distance to contest a jumper, but didn't get down low enough to move laterally to the baseline. And Jay McDaniels just took advantage of the slow-footed Hassan Whiteside.
That's 4 on Hassan, 4 on Rudy Gay, 3 fouls Royce O'Neal. Utah's given up a 40-point third quarter at Target Center. Conley playing hard. Clarkson head fake, bump and foul. They'll whistle Noel for his first.
You know, it's so fascinating because it just happened so quickly. The Jazz were right in this basketball game at half, and they've just come out in the third quarter and couldn't get an offensive flow. Now, I really do think it is an absolute gut punch with Joe Ingles' injury. I know this team is very close, and they cannot be feeling great about what they saw from their teammate going down in such a dramatic way. But they came out at the half, and they've just got run in this third quarter, and it's just tough.
Yeah, what you want to see is fight. I mean, you know, it turns into an emotional game at that point. But, you know, you've got to dig a little bit deeper, get a little more fight out of everybody collectively.
Clarkson rolls into second. 10 points for Clarkson. 92-75. Minnesota taking the final shot of the quarter. Short. Hughes the rebound. Horn sounds, and the Jazz down 92-75 after 3 quarters. Bogey with 20, Conley with 19, but a long way to go. Well, there you saw a flex there from Karl Anthony Towns. Minnesota outscored the Jazz 40-27. That's your all-star mayhem moment. That 40-point third quarter has put distance now between the Jazz. It's a 17-point advantage. Edwards inside, rolls it home. Naz Reid scores.
Yeah, that time Hassan got caught in the middle between helping Pascal and staying with his own man.
If you want something to talk about at the water cooler tomorrow, it's the 50 points Minnesota has scored thus far in the paint. Nice rebound, Whiteside. Over Reid, he'll hook it up and in. That's big effort.
Move.
That's big effort
Yes.
by Hassan.
Nice strong move. He's going to have to pull together a lot of those with that same kind of effort in this fourth quarter.
Shot short, Hughes rebounds, Conley strides into front court. We played a minute. A near steal. Near steal by McDaniels.
You know, and guys, this was such a close game. 9:39 mark in the third. It was 54-53, and since then they went on a 38-20 run, and it's just been all Minnesota. Very little resistance with Karl Anthony Towns getting hot.
Yeah, he was a big difference maker in that third quarter. Pascal on the floor, drops the three. Great shot, confident shot from Pascal.
And that's half of it, right? Confidence. I mean, it is a skill and you've got to work on it, but in real time, in real games, you've got to have that confidence, and Pascal has done such a good job of knocking that three down as of late.
Taurean Prince shakes loose away from Hughes. First bucket for Taurean Prince. Played at Baylor last year, spent time with the Nets and the Cavaliers. And Prince picks up the rebound. Takes the shot and a quick five by the former Baylor Bear.
He and Royce O'Neal were teammates.
Yeah, Prince has been in the league probably 6 years. 5th year now for Royce O'Neal.
Elijah Hughes normally knock that shot down. That's really why he's in the game. Try to give the Jazz some of those threes and just cannot find the bottom of the net.
Mike Conley picks up foul number 3.
Trent Forrest out with that right ankle sprain. You see Donovan Mitchell there. Udoka is the only one who hasn't been in the game right now for the Utah Jazz, and just a tough night seeing their teammate Joe Ingles go down.
Tapped up, Whiteside finally blocks out and took the ball away from Noel.
Nice aggressive drive there with Jordan Clarkson. Jazz just trying to get something, anything going.
You know, T, they've talked a lot about, you know, there's roster spots and you now have an injury, and you also have another COVID issue with Danuel House. I'm just wondering what Danny Ainge, Justin Zanuck, and the Jazz will do. If they will fill another roster spot, take a 10-day contract because of COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a crazy time, isn't it? I mean, it's every team's been affected by it, but when it's your team, it just seems like things just keep coming. And you hope at some point you can heal and get whole, get your key players back, because they make a huge difference, obviously.
I think Jazz Nation, Holly, was hoping it would be this week. Of course, they're not going to push Rudy back too quickly, and with that calf strain from the corner, Taurean Prince has found something here in the fourth quarter. 8 points in the first 3 minutes. Clarkson in the paint. Pascal, yes, splashes home 3 more.
That's good to see, though. I know the Jazz are down, but I think there'll be times when Eric Pascal's three-point ability is really going to come in handy.
There's a travel turnover, Minnesota.
So if we're trying to be glass half full here and be positive in the face of this difficult game right now, as we see Pascal get a nice little rhythm there, is, you know, the Utah Jazz have been competitive every game in this. They've been on a 4-game losing streak, and they have been right in the game every single game. You know, a 2-point loss at Golden State. They were right in both games with Phoenix. Right in it with Memphis on the road. So I think you've got to take some positives that the Utah Jazz have been very competitive without Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell.
Well, the turnovers has been a big factor. it takes the wind right out of your sails, especially a play that ends with a McDaniels dunk. 17 for McDaniels. That's 40, now 38 bench points for Minnesota. 104-85. All right, let's check out our First Colony Mortgage key contributor. First Colony Mortgage, the official mortgage lender of the Utah Jazz. I'd rather see him on the floor, but that whiteboard looks good. Holly and T in the hands of Donovan Mitchell, who was saying, all right, I'm going to draw this up, young man. And Jared Butler, just step back and hit that J. Exactly what I told you to do and how I drew it up.
Yeah, Coach Mitchell.
Find a way to contribute. Obviously, Utah being very cautious with his return to play after a concussion and being in the concussion protocol.
7 games, whew, long time. But, Holly, as you mentioned, the quote we all heard from Quinn, health, and that 7-a-game mark. And you just can't wait, if you're a Jazz fan, to see Donovan and Rudy back on the floor together again. If you just tuned in, Joe Ingles injured in the second quarter. A left knee. He'll have an MRI tomorrow here in Salt Lake City. And we'll know more about the extent of that.
Yeah, good hustle. I mean, you know there's no quit in this Jazz team. Jordan Clarkson showing that right there on that play. Not able to come up with it, but only 9 seconds left on the shot clock here. See if the Jazz can come up with one.
Short shot clock, runs a 3. Rims out, tapped up, in traffic. My goodness, a big bucket and an assist by Naz Reid. And Noel scores his first 2 since the first quarter.
Well, when it's going good, luck kind of favors you as well. And Minnesota kind of getting all the breaks right now.
Butler's got the ball in his hands. O'Neal to Clarkson, guarded by Edwards. Pascal open in the paint, the 3 ball up and good.
It's a tough 3, but it's nice to see go down.
Tougher the better for Clarkson, T.
That's right.
I'm telling you, he works better with no space.
True. That's true. And off the dribble, you just don't know as a defender what he's going to do, and he just pulls up, and it's a nice bucket.
Rudy Gay reaches in, slaps it away. Pascal has it for Utah. Pascal over the top, the rook. Butler got the 3.
First of all, great defense. Rudy Gay comes down to help Eric Pascal, but great D that turns into a Jared Butler 3 on the right side.
7 for Jared Butler.
The way Utah can shoot threes, they're really never out of any game. And Jordan Clarkson can get hot like this. Jared Butler adds a little bit of sauce on the end. They can get some stops. Utah still has time left in this game.
The Vivid defensive moment brought to you by Vivid Smart Security, professionally installed.
For the timing we were talking about for Hassan Whiteside, bam, right there. He gets a half a block for each hand. Goes up and grabs that one. Bam! Come here.
I like it. A half a block for each hand.
That's right, baby.
Whiteside on the bench at the moment.
You can see they've also taken Mike Conley out of the game, trying to be smart about the minutes he plays and his health, as they still have Denver coming up this week.
That's Wednesday night at home. Late tip at 8 o'clock, 7:30 pregame here on AT&T Sportsnet. Gay with the rebound off the miss.
I like the defense that time. Jared Butler stepped up in the path of Karl Anthony Towns to not allow him a straight path to the basket.
You know, Clarkson tried to get into the paint, but he took on 3 black and blue jerseys, stripped it. On the other end, the shot off the rim. Butler's got the ball. The rookie 3 for 3 from the floor. He'll take the shot straight away, and that's an air ball. So I jinxed him. First miss after 3 straight makes.
Made the right play, though. I mean, you get that guy on your hip, you've got an opportunity to take that kind of shot. You just left it short.
Mike Conley coming back in.
Competitor. 25 minutes, 19 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists for Conley. Here's Towns on a drive inside. Rudy Gay, you can hear say, I think he hooked me, but the foul's on Gay. That'll be 5 on Rudy.
The thing about Karl Anthony Towns is they can play him so many different ways. You know, he can do the pick and roll. He can pop back for 3. He's just got such a variety at his size. And, you know, I know we talk about Nikola Jokic and some of the other big men in the league right now, but I feel like his skill set is very unique because of his consistency from 3 at over 40%.
And one of the things he has over a Jokic or an Embiid is speed, right? You know he's a threat to get by you. Jokic is not necessarily that. Embiid is not that fleet-footed. But this man right here has really defined what an all-around center is, with the ability to drive and shoot the 3 and mid-range game.
So do you remember when we had our big debate about who the best centers in the league were?
Yeah.
I had him on my list, and you guys poo-pooed me. So I just want to say I might have been right.
Yeah, well, you know, we can argue that point. He is good. Hey, give him credit where credit is due. But we were talking top 3?
Oh, no,
5?
you know what? I was wrong. I had DeAndre Ayton. You had Karl Anthony Towns. You were
I was
right.
right. Oh,
you
thanks.
were right.
Now I get it. Now I understand.
Okay, good.
Hey, look, you want me to bring in a counselor? I'll be happy to.
I actually feel like I might need some therapy tonight.
Long 3. Bogey right place on the backside for a rebound. 1:08.92. Under 5 to play. Jazz jump on a flight. And I think the good thing is they're going to have to clear their heads here. Tomorrow is a Monday. They play Wednesday night. Bogey takes the foul.
Well, you know, I like Holly's glass half full. I'm just glad there's water in the glass. But listen, All-Star break isn't here yet, right? And sometimes that's a great reset moment. That's a great healing time also, and it's a great time for teams to just kind of get into a new season, if you will. And so, you know, I don't think the Jazz are going to wait for that time, but still, you've got enough games to go before you have to start worrying. I mean, you're still in the pack. It's going to be a bottleneck anyway. And it's not about being really the first in the conference at the end of the season. It's about being ready for the playoffs.
You know, to that point, Thurl, there was so much conversation about the 52 wins last year and that truncated season of 72 games.
Yeah.
And then getting knocked down in round 2. You know, and there's a lot of, I mean, I look at the NBA standings and scores 24/7, and there's a lot of teams that have high hopes that aren't playing well right now.
That's right.
And it's going to be interesting to see who actually will come. The cream rises to the top. The old, you know, Missouri cliche that I always say. But the bottom line is, can the Jazz get it right? And injuries do come into play. And if you get Rudy and obviously Donovan healthy, it's a blow to lose Joe, because he is a guy that can handle the ball. He can hit the 3. He's had a bit of an off season, in my opinion, but still an important part of the locker room for the Jazz. So there's still a lot of questions around the league, Holly, right? And there's a long ways to go. Make sure you remember, there is a point that everyone used to think that the All-Star break was the halfway point. It's not.
No, it isn't.
You're on the downhill run after the All-Star break. So when the Jazz take a breather, how about we check out the diamond play of the game? It's brought to you by Morgan Jewelers. Always brilliant.
Well, who gets the jewelry tonight? Pascal. This little Wes Unseld catch and toss of the head for Royce O'Neal layup. Nice moment.
You know, Buller, I just want to get back to what you were talking about. And when you have Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, you're going to be fine. And the Jazz were fine and were rolling and doing great. Yes, they'd had a couple of disappointing losses at home before this COVID stretch hit, and now some injuries. So Utah was just fine when they were whole. And I think everybody's really been panicked and looking at all the negatives when they haven't been whole. Let's just wait, and before everybody starts to panic, just wait till they get back to being a healthy team. Jordan Clarkson comes up limping a little bit, hopping on that last play.
Well, most people judge you on the moment, right? And there's no question the Jazz are struggling right now. But you've got to have some foresight in this league, as Mike Conley gets another three. So,
I love T how the way he keeps playing.
yeah.
I mean, playing hard.
Well, he doesn't know any different. And a lot of these guys, all these guys, they don't know any different. But listen, to win in this league, you've got to have pretty much full strength. You got to have your superstars in the game to win consistently. And these other teams are starting to get better and heal before the Jazz can get hold. But you got to play the game.
10 points off the hand of McLaughlin, making his third start tonight. Another giveaway. Edwards lob, missed it. O'Neal. I like the way the Jazz push after a miss a couple of times tonight. They need to do more. Clarkson scores.
And the Jazz aren't the only ones that have hit a bump in the road. Brooklyn has not been healthy. Golden State, who was rolling, has not been healthy and hit a real bumpy part of their season. Really, Phoenix is the only team in the West particularly that's just kept on rolling. 9
straight in the win column. Chris Paul's the key, right? I mean, he's a perfect complement, the setup man basically for Booker.
Well, that worry is, are you peaking too early? I know they're playing well, and I know they hope that as Jordan Clarkson limps, see what happened. I think he hit, looks like he hit knees, maybe with Royce. Royce is holding his knee too. We can't afford to any more injuries, man.
I was just thinking the same thing. Bogdanovich has not scored in this fourth quarter. 20-point night for Bogey. Here's Mike again. Drives paint over the top. Clarkson, quick throw out. Bogey slips and slides. Off the glass. Can't finish. And Prince rebounds. See, a lot of teams in this league are wasting no time on throwing the ball ahead off of a miss and the rebound.
Yeah, and the Minnesota just, they're just snowballing right now, having fun out there. And
see their owner right there, Glenn Taylor. He's a buddy of mine.
And they're up 20, and Anthony Edwards is arguing about a call. So, they're feeling it right now, and deservedly so. They've worked hard. They caught the Jazz at a tough time.
Utah beat Minnesota 3 straight times this season, so this only makes the record 3-1, as you see Jordan Clarkson being attended to on the bench a little bit with that right upper shin and knee.
Stretching things out, let's check the upcoming schedule. It's brought to you by University of Utah Health. Get the same care that the Utah Jazz trust. Visit uofuhealth.org. So this homestand begins Wednesday against Jokic and the Nuggets. Friday, the Nets. High expectations in Brooklyn, where they've had issues. The Knicks on Monday, the Warriors Wednesday, Orlando, and then Monday it'll be the Rockets. That's the 6-game homestand.
So the cool part about the Nets game is Kyrie Irving, who gets to play on the road. He cannot play at home in Brooklyn because of the local vaccination mandates, but he can play on the road. So that will be fun for the Utah Jazz fans and people here in Utah to get to see Kyrie and what will the Nets look like with him. I know James Harden is out with a little bit of a hand injury. He was a late scratch in their game against Golden State the other night, but that should be a fun game on Friday night and Wednesday night against Denver.
Well, the other cool part is that as Jared Butler hits a 3 is that the Jazz will be in a friendly environment. They'll be here at home with their fans around. Jazz Nation coming out to support them.
9 points for Butler as the rebound comes the other way. 17-point game, under 2 minutes to go. Bogdanovich drives baseline, draws a foul and 1. So Bogey finally here in the fourth, late in the fourth, scores a bucket. 22 for Bogdanovich, 22 for Conley.
Jazz staying aggressive. Bowie going downhill, connecting, getting that body contact as a driver.
I think Jared Butler's had some nice minutes tonight. Hasn't scored a ton, but I think he's been calm and composed in certain moments. I still believe he's somebody that can impact the game in this league, and I like him getting some extra minutes here without Trent Forrest in the game.
Inside, McLaughlin. 12 points. Not bad for an undrafted third-year player out of USC. Hughes from the corner.
Yeah, he's had a tough night shooting from distance tonight. Elijah Hughes, we've seen him just kind of go on a run from out there, just not able to find it.
Oh, what a shot. Knight just jumped off the bench and hits a bucket off the glass. Make sure you stay close. Jazz postgame presented by Siegfried and Jensen, helping injured people in Utah now for over 30 years. Going to be lucky.
I was at Kansas yesterday for a men's basketball game, Kansas versus Kentucky, and the last time I was at Kansas, I interviewed Udoka Azubuike as he walked off the floor his senior year. So it'd been a minute since I'd been there. Everybody was asking me how Doke's doing with the Jazz. I said he's been hurt, but hopefully he's coming on strong, and he does right there.
Hooks in two. Azubuike. Allen Fieldhouse. Iconic, by the way.
Oh, it's the best. I had such a great time.
Dope bit on the three-point fake and the drive in the bucket down low. Knight again scores 124-105. It's going to be a tough plane ride home.
Yeah, I think it'll be tougher, not because of the loss, but because of the loss of Joe Ingles.
Right.
You know, I think that's the tough part.
By the way, if you just click it in for the final couple of minutes here, Joe injured in the second quarter. Left knee injury, MRI tomorrow here in Salt Lake City. And you can only hope, man, that's good things for Joe.
Listen, if there's a positive, I know that Renee, his wife, who is an absolute warrior, ran a marathon this year. She's just started training for a triathlon. If Renee's in charge of his rehab, it's going to be just fine for Joe Ingles.
And they don't come any tougher than Joe.
That's true.
Right? I mean, we've watched him for, what, 7 years here, and he's just one of the tough ones, man. I mean, not just for the Jazz. I mean, this league. It's hard to find a tougher guy than Joe Ingles.
Layman laid it up and in. 126-106. Final seconds ticking away, and now Minnesota will just inbound, and they'll win this game by 20. Utah's struggles continue. They've lost 5 straight, now 11 of their last 13. Minnesota gets to the 500 mark at 25-25. Conley did what he could. He played hard. Conley drops 22 points, 5 assists. Bogey 23 and 4. And Donovan Mitchell, when will we see him back on the floor? You have to hope, Thurl Holly, that's Wednesday night.
Yeah, you do. You do. And if it's Wednesday night, great. If it's not, again, the game's still scheduled, so you've got to have guys step up and almost play superhuman-like. I mean, just play out of their minds on both ends of the court. I think this guy, Eric Paschal's capable of it. He's a great addition when guys have been out. He brings a toughness, kind of like a Jay Crowder brought when he was here, but I like what he's been doing. So there are some really good things to pull out of guys developing over this course, this part of the season.